getting a hurry
Yeah.
to do it. I know. Evening, everybody. We'll call to order our August 22nd, 2017 regular meeting of the Mason County Board of Commissioners. We go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Dave, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would please take roll.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Drexler.
Here.
Thank you. Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. If the clerk would please report the correspondence.
Mason County Public Hospital District Number 2 sent a letter announcing that Commissioner Dr. Lane Johnson intends to resign from the board effective September 1st, 2017, and Commissioner Tommy Toms will be the representative on the council effective August 3rd, 2017. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent an application for the Hub Senior Center at 111 Northeast Old Belfair Highway in Belfair. Harstein Island Community Club sent a letter about budget reductions. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent an application for the Raucous Group at 133 Northeast Water Hill Road, Tahuya. And Northwest Accountability Project sent a letter regarding collective bargaining and the Open Public Meetings Act.
Very good. Thank you. Takes us to item number 5, which is the open forum for citizen input. If a member of the public would like to come forward and address the commission on items not on tonight's agenda, they can do so by coming forward at this time, and the chair will recognize them. Okay. Very good. Takes us to item number 6, which is adoption of tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of the agenda as presented.
Oh. Thank you for buying us that 10 seconds. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt tonight's agenda as presented. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Item 7, approval of minutes. There are minutes from August 7th, 2017's briefing and August 15th, 2017's regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the approval of the minutes of August 7th, 2017 briefing minutes, August 15th, 2017 regular meeting minutes.
And I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes from August 7th and August 15th, 2017. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Item number 8 is the approval of our action agenda. Commissioners will read through the items on the action agenda, at which time a commissioner or a member of the public can ask for an item to be removed for a separate discussion or vote. I will, if Commissioner Drexler will please take item 8.1 and 2, Commissioner Netherland 8.3 and 4, and I'll take 8.5 and 6.
Item 8.1, approval to amend the Resolution 02-17 designating the appointed officers for Mason County for the Washington County's risk pool. Item 8.2, approval of warrants. Claims Clearing Fund warrants numbers 8050323 through 8050696, totaling $1,159,108.81 for a grand total of the same.
Mr. Chairman, item number 8.3 reads, approval to utilize the Washington Electronic Business Solution, or WEBS, program to retain professional services for online permitting software with a full data conversion of current Tidemark system records. Item number 8.4, approval to solicit requests for qualifications and quotes for cloud-based citizen platform software that will combine permitting processes with the data conversion to secure future access and functions to county records.
Item 8.5, approval to set a hearing for September 12th, 2017 at 9:30 a.m. to adopt an ordinance establishing a 60-day notice of intent to adopt the 2016 through 2036 Comprehensive Plan Update. And item 8.6, approval to set a public hearing on September 19th, 2017 at 9:30 a.m. to adopt the updated Shoreline Master Program and related codes. This time is, if a commissioner or a member of the public would like an item removed for a separate discussion and vote, please do so now. Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the approval of the action agenda as presented.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the action agenda as presented. Any additional discussion?
Want to thank Dave Wyndham, Christopher Nelson, and I'm sure Paula Reeves had a part somehow in moving us forward in a creative way to get to online permitting faster than we had thought. This, I think, will help reduce the workload, be more customer friendly to our citizens, and just bring us into the new century. So thank you very much for your work on this.
I'll do the same. This is exciting for us. We're getting closer and closer to starting to do what we'd always hoped to do from the day when we started. We appreciate you guys for all the work you're doing and the fact that you're actually going to get us there before we pass away.
Yeah, I would just I would echo those as well. I think there are very few things that you can't do online today, and to bring our technology and web-based abilities up a notch, I think is a great thing for Mason County. And so I look forward to having these come back and being able to have a conversation about how we make Mason County more efficient through technology and take advantage of those programs that are out there. So fantastic work. I look forward to moving forward with this. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Item number 9, it's other business, an opportunity for department heads and elected officials to come forward, address the commission. Okay. We are going to move past item 10 as it's not yet 6:30. Move on to item number 11, board reports and calendars. Commissioner Drexler, we'll start with you.
Okay.
And Commissioner Netherland, and I'll wrap up.
Very short report. Let's see, following our commission meeting, I did meet with our new proprietor of the Belfair Motel and welcome to the community and introduce him to our tourism efforts. I just really appreciate the work they've done to improve the site and appearance of the property. And he's very well aware of the fact that, though he's only been 4 months, I think, in ownership of the difficulty of keeping the occupancy level high in our winter season. And we hope that we can find enough marketing and opportunities to be able to build that, as they call, shoulder season traffic. We had the regular meeting of the Mason Transit Authority, and then I met with a constituent who had some interesting ideas about budget saving opportunities. I did participate in a webinar regarding property tax in Washington State. And as always, the first sentence of any kind of training on those is that Washington State has the most complicated property tax in the nation. And whenever you start any kind of training that way, it's very interesting. But we also learned, we learned what's already in code and what we folks that do this on a regular basis know, but also how the legislative levy stabilization or for education, how that's going to affect property taxes around the state. Had an interview at KMAS, had our regular meeting, monthly meeting of the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging. And then I participated in a conference call with the Coastal Caucus, part of the Washington State Association of Counties. And then we had our monthly meeting of the Mason County Law Enforcement Behavioral Health Policy Committee, in which we identified our priorities and for the work plan for the first year or so. And those include law enforcement assisted diversion programming and protocol development led by our prosecutor, protocols for accessing mobile crisis outreach teams and who the referring agencies would be, and then a diversion house or stabilization house for those that are being encountering our mobile crisis team that need a temporary place for stabilization and case management. And then we had the regular meeting of the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization. I attended the Shelton Mason County Chamber of Commerce dinner out at the Green Diamond Recreation Area. Always a good time. We got to hear from not only the timber community, but also from the South Sound YMCA director, and his encouragement that the YMCA here in Mason County is going to happen. And when you hear it from the director, it's very, very helpful to remain optimistic, and there's a lot of wonderful people behind all that. Over the weekend, we had our Taylor Shellfish had their last oyster seed sale of the season to the public to help promote more, they call it shellfish gardening, and I worked that along with my church family. And then we had our commission briefings on Monday. This morning I met with Lisa Franklin, who does manage the mobile crisis outreach team in Mason County, and just kind of heard, now they've been in operation since May, and they're seeing not the numbers that they thought they would, and so we probably will be looking at opening up right now they can only be referred by law enforcement, and they're thinking that we might need to open up referrals from the emergency room at the hospitals. And then met with a constituent about tiny homes. I will now then, as of tomorrow, start on a 2.5 weekly vacation, and so I will be out of the office from the 23rd until coming back here on September 11th.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Kind of a honeymoon thing, though, right?
A honeymoon,
That's
yes.
Okay, again, I apologize. My phone was hit again, so I lost a lot of my information, but I did attend the Mason Transit Authority meeting. I met with some developers again. We're getting closer and closer on some different things up in the North Mason, but I spent a lot of time also looking at the roads and the different accesses and working with some of the parties that have some of the parcels that we need to acquire, and we were very successful. But that's just the beginning of what we're going to need and what we're going to need to do. Although we have some tough times in this county, I want to remind people that road funds are separate from our general fund. As we start to go on, the idea that we have issues on the general fund does not mean we can just ignore it and take from the road fund. It doesn't work that way. So we still need to move forward, and by helping these things to move forward, then we get economic development. With economic development comes new construction. With new construction comes money that above the 1%. That will allow us to get out of the troubles that we're in the long term. I had the Highway 3 ribbon cutting ceremony. That was very enjoyable. Senator Sheldon was there, as was Washington DOT, and Derek Kilmer came out as well. I actually was invited down and enjoyed watching, if you ever get a chance to do it, watching a change of command at a Navy Yard. It's a pretty impressive thing. I like ceremony that has to be done strict and rigorous, and it just puts you in awe when you watch things like this. And I hope you all get a chance to see something like that in the future. But I got to go up into Everett and enjoy that. That was fun. We had our regular briefings, and I met with some more constituents in regards to some land value issues that we're all dealing with up there in North Mason. It appears that some of the commercial land in Allen is actually being based on the land value based on the sale of a trailer park or 2 trailer parks. And that's not the same, because unlike any other business where you have your business, you have your value of the business, a trailer park actually is hard to start, but each one of those lots has a specific value of revenue that can bring in every single month or week. You can't compare that because it'll still come up as just land value instead of improvement. But that seems to be what's happening according to who I'm meeting with, and so I've been meeting with some others trying to figure a way to get around all that. And again, we are so lucky to have the staff that we have, that when you do get in trouble with some of these things, you do want to try and find a way to get to an answer. We can call on them. And because of that, I also had some fun ones. I directed I talked to our director and asked him to look into a nude bikini barista issue, but it's turned out it's not going to be nude. It's turned out there's a lot more to it, of course, as we knew there would be. But there's been a lot of communications up there in the north, and it's getting out of control with their own visions of what they think it's going to be. For the record, not nude, never was going to be nude, and even the picture that they're saying is nude is not nude. There's a person with a bikini, and it is not illegal to have a picture of a girl with a bikini. So it's a little hard to ask us to do certain things because they don't like it. And I'm going to be making the phone call to all those people to explain that to them the best I can. But everything that's being done right now is being done legally. It's permitted, and it's going through all the process, and the staff is already all over it. So a special thank you to them for having to even deal with that. After this, I have a North Mason Chamber luncheon I think we're having. I'm not sure if they've canceled it for this month because of the summer, but we'll find out. And then I have a Clam-A-Lot, which is a big event that they put on for their Chairman's Circle. Mason Transit Authority Policy Board meeting, Union City meeting, briefings, North Mason Community Voice, and they are having a forum on roads and the North Mason area and the Belfair area in particular. They're taking it to the public. There'll be more listening to everybody. So if you have any ideas, if you have any hopes or dreams or anything you think that would help us with our transportation up in the North Mason region, Monday at 7 o'clock at the Hub is the place to be. I also intend on attending the Hub for their, was it beers and brats and stuff, and that's what that earlier message was. And I got to tell you, the senior center, when they are drinking, they can be a fun group. You got to be careful, but they do pinch a lot. It's just the way it works. I don't know why, but they still pinch. And other than that, I've got meetings in regards to the sewer this next week, and the combination of everybody teaming up and looking forward to moving something to Kitsap County. And I think that brings us back to our evening meeting in Belfair.
Okay, very good, thank you. I don't know how I follow some of that.
No one talking
That'll be a little,
pinching,
no pinching, no pinching. There's your,
They think it's cute.
so last week I was able to stop by the Tractor Supply Company, ribbon cutting up on 101 by the airport. Great new store here in Mason County, and I think will be the beginnings of a lot of very positive development for our community. And great store. If you haven't had a chance to pop in, it still has that new store smell. So go in and enjoy. And they had some specials for the opening, so I take advantage of that. We had our state auditor's office entrance conference yesterday. So as we go through the audit process for this year, they got us up to speed on some of the things that they'll be looking at. A lot of different constituent calls this past week, issues relating to roads and barking dogs and trash and myriad of other issues that people in our community are facing. Always appreciate hearing from the public. Going forward, Finance Committee will have a conference call tomorrow, and then I'll be meeting with Dr. Yu, our health officer, to talk about her work on dealing with opioids in our community. Had a great conversation as well with Chief Bo Bakken from North Mason Fire recently, and he's very excited and a lot to get to work on this issue, as they really tend to be on the front lines of the issue in our community and see a lot more at the ground level. And so he's been in communications with Dr. Yu about engaging in the forums that Dr. Yu has planned and how they can work together. Also have the Sheriff's Breakfast this week. Trying to make the Skokomish Tribes estuary opening next week. They're having an afternoon-long celebration of that project. Excited to see that up and running over on Hood Canal. Then we have our evening meeting next week in Belfair. A couple of great topics on the agenda that evening, dealing with transportation and then signage. We'll have a presentation from Dave Wyndham from Community Development, so looking forward to that. Also have Shelton Rotary, the Union City Market ribbon cutting, and then later next week I'll also be on a tour of Taylor Shellfish with Department of Health in the Governor's Office. Saw an article over the weekend. It was a national article that featured Taylor Shellfish, and they produce and sell 35 million oysters a year. Incredible. And so this is a tie-in with some of the efforts that we have going forward with the Shellfish Initiative and water quality here in the county. So looking forward to getting out and having that tour next week as well. So that's the week ahead. And I see that we have 9 minutes. So with If it's okay with the other two commissioners, I think we'll break for a few minutes and then come back at 6:30 for our public hearing.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
we've hit 6:30. Melissa, if
Okay.
you'd like to fire us back up. All right, welcome back, everybody. We can, now that it is 6:30, we can move to item number 10 on our agenda, which is a public hearing to adopt an ordinance amending Mason County Code, Section 15.13 and 15.09.030, to decrease reliance on the hearings examiner for reviews that can be conducted administratively. This time, I would ask staff to please brief.
Good evening, Commissioners. In response to your request, planning staff reviewed our code related to hearings examiner and identified two opportunities to streamline our processes and conduct these standard procedures administratively, as many counties in Washington State and jurisdictions, other jurisdictions do. So this is a two-part ordinance. The first deals with accessory dwelling units, and this would give the planning office staff the ability to review accessory dwelling unit applications and administratively approve or deny those in accordance with the criteria that you have codified for us in Mason County Code 1703029. The criteria for accessory dwelling units is clear, and our several years of experience with them now give us the background that we need to do this work. As I mentioned, it's standard. We see about 15 to 20 of these applications annually, so this is not a big taxing addition to our staff time. As I said, the criteria is codified, and these requests would still be dependent upon the ability to accommodate the ADU with existing or additional septic and water services there on the parcel that's requesting the ADU. So I think that I can read the criteria if you'd like for ADU. I have it on hand. It's very standard again, and this is a standard administrative procedure conducted by most counties. Additionally, the second part of the ordinance is to remove the hearings examiner requirement before we issue a notice of violation in a code enforcement case. And it is fairly unusual that you would have the hearings examiner involved at that upfront opportunity. The revisions we're proposing would give us the ability to call on the hearings examiner in a special circumstance where we needed them, or they are also available for appeal if the person receiving the code violation notice would like to appeal it. So it doesn't completely remove the hearings examiner. It's specific to that requirement that we demonstrate a preponderance of evidence to the hearings examiner before a notice of violation. And again, a notice of violation in a code case is just a simple first step, letting that the person committing the violation know that there's a circumstance. And then there's an opportunity for us to negotiate a voluntary correction agreement after that. So in addition to this, it gives me a chance to tell you that I think our code processes are really coming together with the new code enforcement officer and already having the building officer and the health officer sort of working more as a team on this. So being able to cover this administratively seems to make sense to us. And I think those are my key points.
Okay, great. Any questions for staff?
So you note that the requirement now in place where the preponderance of evidence be presented to the hearing examiner, and what was the result of that? Just that they would have that notice, or would they make a decision that code violation.
They
exists.
would advise us as to whether or not we should issue a notice of violation based on what we present, or take some other steps, gather additional information possibly. And the time is costly, and when we pursue code violations through this team effort that I mentioned, it's very clear that there is, something, we've got, photos and things like that. So just the process we've set up gives a lot of opportunity for the violator to come back and negotiate with us, like I said, a voluntary correction agreement. So there's additional steps beyond that initial notice. So
Okay.
this seems an upfront step that may be unnecessary. We can streamline the process a
And
bit.
unusual.
And unusual from my perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
But want to make sure that this in no way inhibits them from being able to still use the hearings examiner as an objection to any decision we may make or anything we may go forward with.
Absolutely. We maintain the appeals process, and if we do want to call on the hearings examiner for a separate opinion, that's still our option as we've left it.
Okay.
Great. And just if you could, just maybe explain a little bit more what an accessory dwelling unit is for those who might not.
Oh, certainly. Sort of simply put, it is, it's an additional, potentially a bedroom or two with, that we grant a special use permit for. It has to be on the same lot as the principal residence, so it's not a second house. It's a smaller unit that could be used. They had typically been called granny flats, or often used for an aging parent or a college student that's, wants a little extra privacy. So again, it's not a separate house, and it in our requirements and our criteria, we ask that it be not exceed 80% of the square footage of the existing home, or 1,000 square feet, whichever is smaller. So, they're limited in size. They still have to meet all the setback requirements of the lot. Again, have to meet water, sewer, or septic capacity. And we have specific requirements for parking and all that. So, I guess simply put, it's a smaller unit that is typically sort of a family member housing situation. And we typically see about 20, less than 20 of these annually. So it's not a big change to our staffing.
Great, thank you. Any other questions for staff? I looked at staff, sorry. Yes, please.
Yeah, this only applies to, I misunderstood when I read it. I thought you were not going to be in the hearing examiner at all for anything, but this only applies to this type of situation.
Right, these two circumstances, we're on the sort of conservative end here, reviewing our processes and trying to streamline where we can and save county resources, use our staff services where we can instead. And so this is simply for the review of accessory dwelling units, which used to have to be taken to the hearings examiner, and the notice of violation step in our code enforcement process.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
But
Okay.
it's also a cost savings to the clients.
Yes,
Good
that's
point.
the big one.
Yeah, the really important piece there, the public, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, I will then move to the public comment period. If you would like to make a comment on this, please step forward to the podium and the chair will recognize you. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public comment portion, and I would entertain a motion from the commission.
I'll go ahead and move that we adopt the ordinance amending Mason County Code Section 15.13 and 15.09.030 to decrease reliance on the hearings examiner for reviews that can be conducted administratively.
And I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt an ordinance amending Mason County Code, Section 15.13 and 15.09.030 to decrease reliance on the hearings examiner for reviews that can be conducted administratively. Any additional discussion?
Thank you so much for coming back with this so quickly. Appreciate it.
This is great, and it's definitely something that we've been asking for. It's a step in the right direction. I'm hoping, though, this is still the beginning and that there are more options that are coming forward. As our director pointed out, there's a cost to the citizen every time that they utilize that hearings examiner, and it's quite a cost, $300 to $3,500 to utilize them. Where I believe there's many other things in the future that I'm hoping you'll bring forward to us that we can avoid that for them and give them the opportunity of having some administrative decisions made while still keeping the appeal process through the hearings examiner available to them if they are not happy with the outcome. You guys have done a wonderful job again, and thank you for bringing it forward.
I would also just add, this is yet another in a series of code cleanup, housekeeping items that we've been engaged in this year, and I appreciate the openness of staff to look at everything and leave no stone unturned when it comes to improving our codes here in the county and improving people's access and opportunity to make improvements on their property. I think this is another great step in that direction, and look forward to continuing this process as we go forward. So thank you. Hearing no additional discussion, I will call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It takes us to item 12.
Before we adjourn, could you give a brief mention of that incredible GIS system that is coming? I'd love for the public to hear a little bit about it. I see a realtor in the room, and I know that realtors are going to love this. But so is every citizen that has an option to use it. What a jump for, although somebody made the joke, yeah, we're jumping to the 1990s. I happen to think it was much farther than that. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So the county's GIS person, Jason Wells, has put together with our IT folks, Ben over there, just a fantastic new platform to do parcel searches and everything from zoning and taxing districts and roads and down to what's a Forest Service road, to what's a private road, to a county road, state road. Just a tremendous amount of effort, I think, has gone into this over the past had to be several months. And I just we got a sneak peek yesterday, and it was just really exciting to see it come together. And I believe it'll be going live here in the next week or 10 days as they continue to kind of work out some of the bugs. But just a tremendous effort. And from what I understand, Jason took the initiative after having received a number of calls from residents and citizens here in the county to go ahead and start revamping the program. So I appreciate him stepping forward, and I know how important GIS and those mapping services are to everybody in the community. So really exciting.
I just want to share that on the Commissioner Terry Drexler Facebook page, I included a link if you wanted the beta version. So if you want to play around with it, go there and click on. Find your home.
And I've already used it for our clients, for our citizens, in some of the things that I was having questions and issues regarding zoning and stuff. It was so easy to use. You use it on your phone. You could just by taking your fingers going like this, it opens up where the other one took so long to load. But a feature I haven't used yet that I can't wait to use is be in front of a piece of property that we know there's an issue on and hit a locate and it tell me where I am and tell me that property. That's crazy. That's crazy good. But again,
That's coming?
Yep, that's what he told us. He says he could do it already. And it's already there. I just don't know how yet. Well, I will. Well done again.
Yeah, very good. Exciting. Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Sure, I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
We're adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.
I see a motorcycle riding my feet.
New Orleans.